So the question is why Elon became the rival of the company he founded himself? Why he left OpenAI? What happened? They were friends, but they became a rival, Elon and Sam Altman. So first of all, Elon wanted Tesla to acquire OpenAI so Tesla can achieve AGI among all other AI companies. So basically, the board members and of course Sam Altman didn't agree with him. That's why Elon left in 2018. But the actual beef started from 2019 when Sam Altman and OpenAI decided to go from non-profit to capped profit. And they raised a lot of money from their main investor, Microsoft, since then. But what does that mean? If you look at the structures of OpenAI, you can see there is still a non-profit board members in charge and in control of all the decisions OpenAI makes. So they control the inner subsidy, which is capped profit, like the investors like Microsoft who has commercial interests. And even the profit is capped, so it has limits. It was initially 100x of the initial investment, which is much lower according to Sam Altman at the moment. So any profit above 100x of the initial investment would go to the non-profit organization, which is like a charity or foundation, and all the profits over 100x would be used for OpenAI's research and product development. So this claims that OpenAI is an independent decision maker and a company. So investors like Microsoft are not forcing any decision that OpenAI wants to make. They're not forcing the decision in a specific direction. I'm not sure about that because it reminds me of the time when OpenAI board members in 17th of November 2023 decided to fire Sam Altman, and people like Leah Sutskever was part of that decision to fire Sam Altman because he wasn't communicating with the board members. Like the board members didn't inform about the ChatGPT. They found about it on X platform after ChatGPT, got released. So that was funny. But the fact that the Microsoft pushed OpenAI board member to hire Sam Altman back in a week, and they changed the whole board member and the chairman, and that needs a lot of power. So I'm not sure if Microsoft is not part of the decisions that OpenAI makes, or at least it is now the part of the decisions that OpenAI makes. Also, Microsoft has 49% ownership of OpenAI's equity, so they're not the majority shareholders, but they are pushing that to be the majority shareholders and, probably the final decision maker in OpenAI. However, all the capped profit deals are pre-AGI, so they're not going to use AGI to make profit. All the deals, like with investors like Microsoft who has commercial interests, are pre-AGI. However, I know you have the same question. Why Sam Altman decided to make a non-profit organization and turn it to capped profit?
And the nonprofit is like in voting control, lets us make a bunch of non-standard decisions, can cancel equity, can do a whole bunch of other things, can let us merge with another org, protects us from making decisions that are not in any shareholders' interest. So I think it's a structure that has been important to a lot of the decisions we've made.
What went into that decision process for taking a leap from nonprofit to capped for-profit? What are the pros and cons you were deciding at the time? I mean, this was 2019.
It was really to do what we needed to go do. We had tried and failed enough to raise the money as a nonprofit. We didn't see a path forward there. So we needed some of the benefits of capitalism, but not too much. I remember at the time someone said, as a nonprofit, not enough will happen. As a for-profit, too much will happen.
So he wanted high computation power and he needed to raise money. It was hard to raise money as a non-profit organization. And that's why he decided to go from non-profit to capped profit. And the structures of OpenAI is very unique. Maybe it's the first one among all the companies to has a capped profit structure. And Sam Altman says, yes, OpenAI is unique because AI is not a normal technology, nor OpenAI a normal company. Also, he decided to make the sources closed, which is ironic. I mean, the name of the company is OpenAI, and now the source is completely closed. So the codes are not freely available for the public to use and, build their own systems. And this is where Elon became mad. He was like, you can't just change a non-profit organization with an open source to completely closed source organization which maximizing the profit without caring about AI safety. It's illegal. Elon was mad. Elon sued OpenAI, but he dropped the lawsuit after a while. I don't know why.
OpenAI, you seem somewhat frustrated with them in terms of it becoming a for-profit. You were one of the big contributors.
I am the reason OpenAI exists. It wouldn't exist without me. I came up with the name. OpenAI refers to open source. It does seem weird that something can be non-profit, open source, and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source. Let's say you funded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead they became a lumber company and chopped down the forest and sold it for money.
So Elon wait a second, I just gave you money, nearly $50 million as an independent investor when we started OpenAI together, because our initial values were we have to make it open source to benefit all the humanity, and we have to make it non-profitable, a counter to Google and DeepMind at that time. And now you used my money, you tricked me, and now it's completely the opposite. It's closed source, and it's maximizing the profit, which is the complete opposite. I would have made the company public if I wanted to raise money from the public, but I kept it private to be a counter to other companies who are maximizing profit and they're not caring about AI safety. But it's now operating like any other AI company. There's no difference between OpenAI and Google.
The open in OpenAI refers to open source.
Yeah. So why were you concerned about the profit motive warping things at that point?
Well, at least, I think this perhaps is particularly a challenge for publicly traded companies. You just get sued if you don't maximize profits. The shareholders, you'll get a shareholder class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
That will force you to maximize profits.
Yeah. So you thought that you thought a for-profit system might tilt the development of AI in directions that were short-term profit motivated instead of cracking the fundamental problem, something like that.
Yeah, look, I could be wrong about a lot of these things, but that's what I thought at the time, and I wanted to create something that I thought would be the polar opposite of Google, which is obviously a for-profit and closed source.
Centralized,
Centralized, and you don't get to see what's going on.
And Sam Altman's reaction was no, Elon is just mad because he wasn't part of our success, and he was okay with the for-profit organization back in 2015. Check these emails. He basically released the emails between him and Elon that shows, yes, Elon was okay with the for-profit organization. I'm going to read the whole emails for you. So it's okay, we realized building AGI will require far more resources than we'd initially imagined. Elon said we should announce an initial $1 billion funding commitment to OpenAI. In total, the nonprofit has raised less than $45 million from Elon and more than $90 million from other donors, okay? And when we go to see the emails, the first email from Elon Musk to Greg Brockman, which was, I think, the president at that time, one of the co-founders of OpenAI, and of course Sam Altman. I'd favor positioning to blog to appeal a bit more to the general public. There is a lot of value to having the public root for us to succeed, and then having a longer, more detailed and inside baseball version for recruiting with a link to it at the end of the general public version. So it says that yes, Elon, it seems to have kind of hope and to make the company public. We need to go with a much bigger number than $100 million to avoid sounding hopeless relative to that Google or Facebook are spending. So the main aim of Elon was to make OpenAI a counter to Google and Facebook or other AI companies, okay? So he wanted to raise more money, like $1 billion funding commitment, not just 100 million, okay? And now we see the email from Elon Musk to Leah Sutskever, one of the co-founders as well. So exactly right. We may wish it otherwise, but in my opinion, Tesla is the only path that could even hope to hold a candle to Google. Even the probability of being a counterweight to Google's is small, it just isn't zero. So it says we can't compete with Google because they have higher funding, okay? But Tesla is the only hope we have. So we can make the probability of success of OpenAI more than zero, not just zero. And they're arguing about it. And at the end, my probability assessment of OpenAI being relevant to DeepMind Google without a dramatic change in execution and resources is 0%, not 1%. I wish it were otherwise. Even raising several hundred millions won't be enough. We need billions. So of course he was okay with the for-profit thing, and unfortunately humanity's future is in the hands of someone, probably Google at that time, because Elon was very mad with the Google thing. And yes, so it shows, yes, Elon was okay with the for-profit thing because his main aim was to make a company counter to Google, and he truly cared about AI safety, and he truly believed Google, Facebook, and other AI companies are not actually caring about AI safety. So my understanding from all these evidence is Elon wanted to make AGI and AI in a safe way that benefits all the humanity. And he knew he couldn't counter Google and other big AI companies because of funding, and OpenAI couldn't raise that much money. So he was like, okay, Tesla will acquire OpenAI, and it's the only way that we can fund the projects so we can counter other AI companies which are not caring about AI safety. But Sam Altman and the board members were like, no, we're not going to be in your shelter. We want to be independent. And Elon was like, oh man, I don't have time for these power plays in the AI revolution. I have to make AGI fast, and I have to make the AI in the right direction that benefits all the humanity. So wish you luck, guys, but I'm going to do it myself. But after he saw that Sam Altman and the Microsoft are partnering with each other, he was like, oh no, they are doing the same thing as Google DeepMind. So they're maximizing the profit without caring about AI safety. And he was also, Elon is a competitor guy, so he was like, no, I'm not going to stay behind, and I'm not going to let you have the control over AI because you're dangerous, you're maximizing profit.
How concerned is Sam Altman about Annihilation, do you think?
I think in reality he's not concerned about it. I don't trust OpenAI. I started that company as a non-profit open source. I named a company, OpenAI, as an open source, and it is now extremely closed source and maximizing profit.
Well, but Sam Altman got rich, though, didn't he?
At various points he's claimed not to be getting rich, but he's claimed many things that were false. Now apparently he's going to get $10 billion in stock or something like that. I don't trust Sam Altman at it, and I don't think we want to have the most powerful AI in the world controlled by someone who is not trustworthy.
So Elon doesn't trust Sam Altman the same way he didn't trust Larry Page at Google. And the Sam Altman reaction to AI safety was like this.
I think he really cares about AI safety a lot. And I think that's where it's coming from a good place. And he just we have differences of opinion on some parts, but I think we both care about that. And he wants to make sure we have the world have the.
Most of the people who say they're really worried about AI safety just seem to spend their days on Twitter saying they're really worried about AI safety, or, any number of other things. There are people who are very worried about AI safety and doing great technical work there. But we need a lot more of them. We're certainly shifting a lot more effort inside, a lot more technical people inside OpenAI to work on that. But what the world needs is not more AI safety people who post on Twitter and write long philosophical diatribes. It needs more people who are going to do the technical work to make these systems safe and reliably aligned. And I think that's happening. It'll be a combination of people that good ML researchers shifting their focus and new people coming into the field.
So you might ask, okay, I understand Elon, cares a lot about AI safety, but why we have to trust Elon? Why we have to trust Elon and xAI instead of Google, DeepMind, Microsoft, OpenAI? Why?
We have the choice of being a spectator or a participant.
But that's life, man.
I think if we're a participant, we've got a better chance, hopefully, of steering AI in a direction that is beneficial to humanity.
Okay, so why do you trust yourself on that front? Just out of, I mean, that's an important question, right?
I don't trust myself entirely.
Fair enough, okay.
Yeah.
But the excuse that something is happening is not a rationale for participating in it. But then your next take is, well, you know, we have the chance to do this properly, let's say, as
maybe
opposed
better.
to... Okay.
Just pull it from a moral standpoint, we really just need to think that maybe we've got a chance of it being better to some degree than what others are doing.
So at this point, with everything we explained and we saw the evidence and we heard both parties, I'm neutral on both Elon and Sam Altman. But wait a second. I think 3 weeks ago, OpenAI did the highest fundraising ever in Silicon Valley.
OpenAI raising $6.6 billion in the latest funding round. The startup behind ChatGPT, now valued, where it was funded, at $157 billion. OpenAI didn't name the investors that were part of that new round, but we are told it was led by Thrive Capital. Microsoft, NVIDIA, SoftBank, and others also taking part. Joining us now to talk about the company's plan.
And they now changed from capped profit to benefit corporation. So they're now maximizing the profit. They're all...
Hey, David. Yeah, a lot happening with OpenAI in the last 24 hours. It right now is in the process of pivoting from being a nonprofit to what's known as a benefit corporation. This is according...
For profit. They're like, we are for profit, but we have to benefit the environment and the society in a legal way. So the nonprofit board members are not in charge anymore. Then the main board members will be for-profit members. And Sam Altman, who, you know, seemingly didn't have any kind of ownership and equity in OpenAI, is going to get like 7% equity, which is nearly like $10 billion. But he said, he denied it. He said, no, I'm not going to have ownership because I just love this job and I love what I'm doing, but we can't be sure about it. Some people say, okay, OpenAI is now benefit corporation, so it's for profit, but legally it has to benefit the society and the environment, and it has the same structures as xAI, which is, you know, the Elon's company. So you're like, okay, they're both the same, they have both, you know, the same structures. Why there needs to be any kind of, you know, disagreement or any kind of, you know, leaning towards like OpenAI or xAI? And I'm like, okay, I trust a true capitalist who's transparent about his ideas from day one, and I rather to talk to him and vote for him rather than someone who's a dishonest altruist who goes from non-profit, completely non-profit, to maximizing profit. And by the way, from 11 co-founders in OpenAI, only 2 are remained in the company, and one of them is Sam Altman. So the turnover rate for executives, because everyone's leaving, the CTO Mira Murati left, Leah Sutskever left, and Leah Sutskever even opened another startup. He opened a startup called Safe Superintelligence AI, or SSI, which truly cares about AI safety, an AGI that is safe. And Leah Sutskever, the CTO of the OpenAI, left the company I think months ago, and she's now trying to raise funds for her own startup. So everyone, like the turnover rate, the executive turnover rate for OpenAI is so high, and everyone who's leaving OpenAI are saying something about AI safety. And from the 11 co-founders, the original 11 co-founders, only 2 left, and Sam Altman is one of them. So it's now kind of strange. Like, it questions the fact that, does Sam Altman actually care about AI safety, or he's just saying it because it's a good thing to say in press and media? So my final thought on OpenAI's controversy would be, I think Sam Altman actually cares about AI safety, and I don't think that he actually wants to destroy the humanity and the all mankind because, you know, he likes to not care about AI safety. No, that's not the fact. But when you have high executive turnovers and 9 co-founders leave your company, and everyone who's leaving the company is talking about AI safety, and then you're maximizing profit, you decide that you need high computation power to stay ahead of the game among all the other AI companies like Google, DeepMind, and Meta. And you're maximizing profit, and you go from non-profit organization and open source to closed source, maximizing profit. You unwillingly, so just hear me out, you unwillingly and unconsciously going to care less about the short-term effect of AI, and you just want to achieve the AGI. I know you're tech optimistic and optimistic with plan. You're participating in this thing, in this field, and you've done a great job. But man, when you want to achieve something as fast as possible, unwillingly, I'm repeating myself, unwillingly and unconsciously, you're going to care less about the short-term effect. As Sam Altman said, it's not going to be completely positive, but it can be net positive. So that's all I have to say.